If you're just tuned in, this is Breakfast Central from News Central. And of course, we're asking you to follow us on all socials. We're at News Central TV on Instagram, on Facebook, and our website is www.newscentral.tv. Now, let's start off the day with a review of the newspapers across the continent. And we're starting with the Daily Trust this morning in Nigeria. And the Daily Trust is talking about Nigerians. Now, it says, despite diplomatic interventions, Ghanaians resume hostility against Nigerian traders. That the writer here says 3,000 businessmen threatened, over 3 billion naira lost. Government must act on legal, political, and economic technicalities. We are not aware of recent onslaughts. Diaspora Commission is coming out to say this. Now you can see this picture here. This is a Nigerian trader shop that is being sealed in Ghana as businessmen are stranded. You can see the pictures of the businessmen, Nigerian businessmen in Ghana who seem to be wondering why their shops are being sealed. This is coming from page 5 of the Daily Trust this morning, Olisa. Quite a sad one for Nigerians.
Hostilities again, Nigeria and Ghana, and this time businessmen shops being locked in there. I'm sure the Diaspora Commission will have to look into this one as the week starts. It's a Monday, but not a good story based on the West African relations. So there you have it on the front page. Also, and check out this story at the top right of the Daily Trust. It says, worry over acute shortage of airworthiness inspectors in airports. Now, this is a story that will raise eyebrow because when you say air safety is paramount, and when you have a story that talks about worry over the acute shortage of airworthiness inspectors. So that's the people who are supposed to be the personnel running, airlines, or perhaps even, I hope not related to cabin crew.
Well, when they say airworthiness, you should tell. I think they should be the ones to checkmate or to measure the amount of the humid amount in the air and to ensure that the air is safe enough for air travel, most importantly. Because at the end of the day, if it's not safe and you have an airplane in the airway, it is something.
So it's a shortage of the personnel who can check airworthiness. All right. So maybe perhaps more training, more education, more expansion for the sector, for people to bring out jobs.
And that's on page 14 of the Daily Trust, if you go to page 14. Also on page 8, you have the VAT roll. More Northern states team up with FIRS. Now, Lisa, remember this story came up? I mean, when some governors came out and said they need to take charge of the VAT revenue generation in their state. They need to be collecting it as against collecting it and pushing it to the federal government. But some northern states have come out to say, nope, we are supporting FIRS. Now, this case has been taken to court as we speak, and the case is still in court. But there's more details on this from page 8.
They've turned it into a northern and southern divide. Somehow it just ends up being so. Also at the bottom page, bottom of the Daily Trust, not on the front page basically. So it's Anambra politicians go into hiding as IPOB unleashes terror. Now, don't forget, other weekend was all about Nigeria's independence 61st celebration. Well, many might say reflection, because not everybody was talking about celebrations. And IPOB declared sit-at-home order and all that. So this is a follow-up to that story. So Anambra politicians go into hiding as IPOB unleashes terror. Find out more on the front page and also on page 3 of the Daily Trust in Nigeria.
Right, moving from Nigeria, we have the next paper from Kenya, Olisa.
All right, that takes us to the Standard in Kenya. That's a big story this morning, a Kenyan newspaper. And only one place to start. I know that there's a lot of politics, but to check that out on the front page is best of the best. That lady there did so well at the London Marathon yesterday. Jocelyn Jepkowska is celebrating after winning the elite women's race in the London Marathon yesterday. So clearly, there'll be more to follow on her achievement. I will hear from her later, right here on this morning's program, Breakfast Central. The best of the best from Kenya winning in that London Marathon. Also, Oluchi, Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto don't avoid the front page of a Kenyan newspaper.
No, they do not. I mean, look at this one here that talks about 5 questions on Uhuru Ruto's delayed talks. That's what it's saying here. Digging deep, DP releases letter to deny claims by cleric that he has not responded to the invitation for dialogue with his boss. He instead accuses the clerics of dishonesty. In all of this, where does the truth lie? That's a big question on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. This has been ongoing for some time now, Uhuru Ruto's saga.
All right, looking ahead to the elections next year in Kenya, but also quite a health story there on the front page. It talks about antiviral pill to rescue to the rescue in the fight against COVID-19. Now, the drug is called the molnupiravir. It's good news, as it says, in the world relying on vaccines to create herd immunity. The drug shows promise of preventing severe diseases and deaths of COVID-19. But I'm sure there'll be lots of claim and counterclaim to that story and what this drug might mean in the fight against COVID-19. But find out more inside the Standard newspaper this morning in Kenya.
Right, moving from the Standard in Kenya, we're going to the Sowetan paper in South Africa, and it's still about the COVID and the COVID-19 jab. Now, SA says from page T, Siyavuma, that's what it's saying here, Siyavuma. Now you can see this picture here. First vaccination drive weekend hits 350,000 targets as many flock to pop-up sites across the country to get the jab. Now it also says the writer, experts say the campaign will make a major difference during the next wave of COVID-19 infections. Now we know that South Africa as one of the countries that has been badly hit by the COVID-19 saga since last year, even up until this very moment. And they're doing their best, Olisa, to ensure that they meet their targets. They do have a target in South Africa to get above 40% of the population vaccinated before the end of 2021.
All right, so Siyavuma it is, so it's not Siyabonga, which is the normal term we use in South Africa. So quite a twist and turn of the editorial this morning in this Sowetan. That's why I love it, one of my favorite papers. They know how to really turn that pen, don't they? Also on the front page, on the Sowetan in South Africa, jobless graduates remain hopeless. Find out more as it says qualifications count for nothing in the country. And also it talks about the SAHRC wants answers for pit toilets at schools. So really interesting there. But on the sad note, and also on the front page, there's sports there. Stuart Baxter pleads for patience as he leads his team in the South Africa PSL.
Right. Also on page 7, you have flood victims slam state. Why would they do that? Well, there's more on that on page 7. And on page 10, you need to find out if you have burnout. You need to go to the Sowetan paper for more on that.
All right, I think we'll go to our last paper. That will be the Daily News in Malawi, if I'm not mistaken, to see what they have. The Daily News in Zimbabwe, not Malawi, that to be more precise. So Daily News in Zimbabwe, what can we say? That there's utility in opposition unity, says Monzora, as he woos 15 other parties. So politics on the front page says there's utility in opposition unity. Well, see how it goes for them there.
Right. Also, we're looking at COVID-19. It seemed to be trending on a lot of the papers, the front pages of the papers this morning. On page 2, you have 50 countries miss COVID jab targets. Now, according to World Health Organization, for a target of 10% of their population, Olisa. 50 countries missed the COVID-19 jab target of 10% of their population. And this target was set up to be met on or before the end of September. Now, some countries like UK, where nearly 66% of the whole population has been fully vaccinated. The EU, about 62%, and in the US, about 55% of the population has been fully vaccinated. But in some African countries, less than 10% of the population have been fully vaccinated.
All right, and just before we go, the top left story on the Daily News newspaper in Zimbabwe talks about artists to headline Jacaranda Music Festival, all about a live gig in the country. So there you have it on the front pages this morning, right here on Breakfast Central or News Central.